Hey guys, it's your buddy Wings of Redemption, and I wanted to go and share a story with you. I was thinking about death lately. Recently here in Myrtle Beach, we have a girl by the name of Heather Elvis, which has just recently gone local, and she has been missing, and her parents offer a $25,000 reward. The reason it's on my mind, because it kind of makes me think back to somebody I lost. Well, I didn't personally lose them. They were a friend of the family's, but they ended up dying in a situation that was somewhat close to where she was presumed missing. I went to the gym yesterday, had a nice workout session, and inside that workout session, which you'll see later today, I seen a poster for Heather Elvis, and I was talking to Drew about it. And I'm like, if I was her father, I would, instead of offering $25,000 for information leading to her, I would be dragging the river, because Heather Elvis was gone missing on a Peachtree Landing. 20-year-old girl. Couple things come to mind. One, she had a boyfriend that pretty much she ran off with, which in my guess is most likely going to be the scenario that's going to play out. Two, it could have been something tragic that went wrong, be it a rape or something like that went bad and went sour, and he panicked. If you're at a river landing anyway, what's the first place you're going to do? You're going to try to dump the body in the water. So that would be the first thing that popped in my mind. Is that where my daughter is? Drag the waters. I understand they have this optimistic approach that somebody's going to come forward, but the $25,000 has been there for a good part of 2 months. If somebody knew or seen her at this point, they would have contacted. If they don't find her within the first week, dragging the waters would be the most obvious answer. But let's get to my story. When I was a kid, I looked up to my grandfather. My grandfather's name was Carl Peavy. He was not a flawless man. He was an alcoholic. He enjoyed smoking cigarettes, and he was not very good with money. But he had a good heart, and that's what I remember most about my grandfather, is that he had a very good heart on him. And he kept his friends close. He did. He had the same friends most of my childhood. One of his name was Junior. One was his I think like his it wasn't his brother, but his name was Randy Jordan. And another one was Alan. These three guys, they hung out all the time. They came over and played the banjos, and it made for a pleasant childhood because you'd have all this entertainment and excitement happen. Well, the worst part about it is Junior couldn't swim, but Junior loved to fish. And it was Thanksgiving. I don't remember what year it was, but I was young. I was 10 or so, if you want to narrow down the year. It was in the 90s, but it was Thanksgiving. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, if I ate a turkey, I've ate so much food, if I fall out, I'm going straight to the bottom. And that right there automatically hit me, and like it stuck with me. I remember that to this day. Every time I think about a river or I go over a bridge, I think about him saying that I'm going to go straight to the bottom. Because that evening, they went out to set some nets. My grandfather enjoyed catfishing, and one of the things that he liked to do was take old milk jugs and go tie them off and create little, catfish lines. So basically, he, Junior, and Alan and little Alan, they all went out in two different boats, and they went down to Pitch Landing. And they basically went out and set their catfish hooks. Well, my grandma gets a call from the TV 15 news. This is before cell phones. Cell phones weren't even out at this point. So we get a landline call from the TV 15 news, and it's basically my grandpa using their satellite phone to call my grandma and tell them they've had an accident. And what happened was Junior stood up and tried to reach a limb. In doing so, he flipped the boat over, capsizing the boat. And my grandfather, I remember telling him telling the story vividly of how if he could have got a hold of his belt loop, he would have been gone too. And I don't know why I'm sharing this. It's just something that's always come to me every time I think about the river. And it's also created a fear in me. There's two things that I'm afraid of, and it's actually a reoccurring dream I have. I've had since a child. And that reoccurring dream was there's this big bridge that has no guardrails on either side. And I've had this dream since Junior died. He basically drowned because he couldn't swim. But I'm riding my bike, and no matter how hard I try, I can never get my bicycle to go straight across the bridge. My grandmother and my grandfather are there on one side, and there's like cops or something behind me. And I'm pedaling my bike, and I end up falling off every time. And when I fall off, the bridge disappears instantly. And what happens is I'm in the middle of a river, a black river. Can't see the bottom, can't see it. There's these cypress oaks on both sides, and all I can sit there and think about is I'm going to sink straight to the bottom. That's a fear. And do you contest that fear? I don't know. For some reason, I tend to always think there's an alligator in there with me, but I never see one. And part of me, as I've grown up, and now that I know to swim, I swim in the dream, whereas before I would always drown. But I always end up waking up swimming and getting tired, and I never actually get out of the river. It's like limbo for me. But what do you guys think the dream represents? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my video, and as always, I'm Audi 5000.